Welcome to The Explainer. We're talking about South Africa today, and something huge is on the horizon for its immigration laws. The Department of Home Affairs has put out a proposal that isn't just a tweak, it's a complete teardown and rebuild. We're talking about a whole new system, really, driven by a need to attract top talent and investment from around the globe.
So, is South Africa really about to change the rules of the game for immigration? Oh, yeah. The short answer is a big fat yes. You see, the country is facing some major hurdles skills shortages, frustrating backlogs, you name it. And this proposal, well, it's a massive signal that they're ready for one of the biggest policy shifts we've seen in decades. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so first up, a whole new system. We're talking about a shift from what's being called mechanical to merit-based. And at its core, this whole thing is a fundamental change in philosophy. It's a strategic pivot away from the old way of doing things to something that's way more in tune with what the country actually needs. And this quote right here from the draft paper itself really says it all. A massive shift from a mechanical approach to a merit-based one. I mean, that's not just a small adjustment, right? It's a total rethink of who gets to come into the country and, crucially, why they're being welcomed. The big goal here? To fire up the economy. So let's break that down. The old way, the mechanical one, was pretty much about compliance. You know, how long have you been here? Did you follow the rules? Check, check, check. But this new proposed way, it's all about merit. It completely flips the script. Now the question is, what do you bring to the table? What are your skills? What value can you add to the economy right now? All right, next section, points, not just time. This is the new engine of immigration. So you're probably wondering, how does this whole merit-based thing actually work? Well, it's all going to be built around a points-based system. And this isn't some brand new idea. It's something countries all over the world are using to attract the best and brightest. So what is a points-based system? Basically, instead of just filling out a form and hoping for the best, you'll actually have to score points to qualify for work visas or permanent residency. Think of it like a game, almost. You need to hit a certain score, a threshold of value that's set by what the country needs most at that moment. And here's how you'd get those points. They'll be looking at things like your skills and qualifications, of course, but also your economic contributions. Are you investing money, creating jobs? Even your social contributions like research or community service could count. It's a much more holistic view. And this is key. They're planning to set annual quotas. This gives them a lever, a way to kind of dial the number of people coming in up or down depending on what the economy needs. Okay, on to the new visa menu. We're talking new pathways for talent and investment. Because it's not just about how you score points. The whole menu of visas is getting a makeover. And there are some really interesting new options designed for today's economy. First off, they're getting rid of the old critical skills and general work visas. Instead, they're rolling them into one single skilled worker visa. The idea here is to make things way less complicated, right? Just one clear path for skilled people to go from a temporary gig to maybe even permanent residency.
And this is a big one. They're finally creating a visa for digital nomads. It's called the remote work visa. This is huge because it's the first time there's an official path for people who work for companies overseas to live and work in South Africa. We're talking up to 3 years. It's a great way to bring in people with foreign cash to spend in the local economy.
Innovators are getting some love too. There are going to be new dedicated visas for people with startup ideas and for major investors. This is all about rolling out the welcome mat for entrepreneurs and big money to come in, create jobs, and really help get the economy moving. Now, here's an interesting little detail. The retirement visa is changing. They're proposing a new minimum age limit, 55. Why? Well, it seems they want to make sure this visa is being used by actual retirees and not by younger folks who might not be contributing to the economy in the way the government hopes. All right, next up, smarter, faster, and fairer. This section is all about streamlining the user experience, because this plan isn't just about changing the rules, it's also about fixing the process itself. You know, tackling those horrible backlogs and making the whole thing feel a bit more modern and less painful, especially for families. And check this out, this is a real game changer for families. They're calling it an all-access pass for spouses. Right now, if you're a spouse, it can be a nightmare of delays and separate applications just to be able to work. This new combined spouse visa would let them work, study, or do business right away. One visa, one application, boom, down. The whole system is also getting a major tech upgrade. Think digital first. They're talking about trusted employer schemes, basically a fast track for companies that are pre-approved. There's also going to be a single online portal for everything, no more running around. And they're building a new biometric database for a secure digital ID for everyone, citizens and foreigners alike.
Okay, so with all these new ways to get in, there also have to be new rules for enforcement. It's about tightening the system. The proposal includes some much stricter measures for enforcement and how asylum claims are handled. The goal is to make the whole system credible and sustainable.
So let's look at 3 big changes on the enforcement side. First, for asylum claims, they're looking at a first safe country principle. That means if you pass through another safe country on your way, you might be turned away. Second, if you overstay your visa, fines are coming back. And third, they want to create special immigration courts to deal with these cases specifically and hopefully speed things up.
So, the road ahead. Let's try to understand the big picture here. I know it's a ton of information, but there's a really great analogy in the proposal itself that kind of ties it all together and helps make sense of this huge shift. Okay, so picture this. You're trying to get into a stadium. The old way was just one long line and you get in based on when you showed up. But this new system, it's totally different. You've got VIP passes for the trusted employers, they get a fast lane. You've got high-tech skill scanners at the gate, pulling in people with the most valuable skills first. Spouses get that all-access pass, one ticket for everything. And the whole thing is run with a new high-tech security system, a biometric digital ID to keep track of everyone inside. Now, this is super important to remember. None of this is law yet. It's a draft policy, a proposal. And the government actually wants to hear what people think, so they're inviting the public to submit written comments.
And you've got some time to do it. The deadline to have your say on these huge changes is January 31st, 2026.
So all of this leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, doesn't it? Because this is more than just paperwork and new rules. It's a fundamental philosophical shift. It's aimed at tackling very real economic problems. So what happens to a country's identity, its very character, when it decides to reward what you can contribute over just whether you followed the rules? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.